And today I'm going to be doing part 1 of what if Luffy had the ice fruit or the he no me. So basically, yes, I took a very long break. The reason why I took a very long break is because, like, don't I deserve it, bro? Like, okay, they're called Tic Tacs. Don't I deserve that long break, man? Because it was so, like, I was grinding really hard. And yeah, pun intended. But, like, I was grinding so hard, posting a lot of videos that all the juice came out, man. Bro, that was not intended. Okay, instead of Luffy eating the Gomu Gomu no Me fruit, he's going to eat the He no Me fruit, and he's going to discover Haki 2 years before Shanks comes to his village. Okay, going into this video. Dawn Island, East Blue. In the dead of the night, and this is this fanfiction is Sub-Zero Straw Hats. In the dead of the night, all was quiet in the forest outside of Fuchsia Village. Nothing except that the insects made a noise. Ah, help me! And the terrified screams of a young child. Yeah, completely normal. A 7-year-old child was sprinting through the forest, running away from a small pack of wolves. The child had raven-colored hair, dark-colored iris, and dark-colored dark-colored eyes, and a frantic expression on his childish face. His shirt was in rags, hanging from his body, so no use describing them. He also had a pair of tattered shorts and open-toed sandals. Luffy was in the forest because his grandfather threw him in there alone. Again. I gotta find a place to get rid of these gosh dang wolves. Luffy thought he was running for at least 10 minutes from the canyons, or whatever you want to call it. Behind him, he needed shelter. Oh yeah, this is kind of a weird position to be reading him. As if to turn his prayer, he suddenly stumbled into the clearing with an incredible large tree in the center. He looked up the oak tree. It was about 20 meters tall with 10-meter wide trunks. From what Luffy could tell, there was a hole that looked large enough to fit him within the tree. Without a second thought, he pushed his burning sore legs even more to get him to the tree, feeling his lungs burn more from exertion, not forgetting about the barking growls wolf behind him. In less than 15 seconds, he made it onto the tree hole successfully with bounding leap and scurrying up the rest of the way, getting the wolves off of his tail. Hey, get it? You don't know, 'cause the wolves and the okay, back to what? Should have never read that. Luffy was on his back, huffing and puffing, um, gulping in mouthfuls and precious oxygen, trying to regain his breath, famished, deciding to see if he was lucky enough to find a single morsel of food. He looked over on his left as if Lady Luck was on his side today. He saw an entire fruit, but it was strange. The strange fruit was a light blue colored, shaped with pear covered that looked like teardrop shaped lumps and had swirls on them with a green. Yeah, I don't really care. Even though it looked weird, gotta eat to survive. With that final thought in his mind, he took the fruit and took a huge and took huge munches out of the fruit, getting past the bitter taste and swallowing it down. After a few moments of devouring the fruit, felt something weird with his arm. He with his arm, like something slightly chilly. He looked down and saw it was frozen. Wait, frozen? Indeed, his arm was covered in ice from the front of his fist to his elbow. Ah, get off, get off, get off! Luffy started freaking out before noticing his arm didn't feel stiff or cold at all. It actually felt completely normal except for the slight chill on it. He focused on turning his arm back to normal, and it worked. His arm was as fleshy as he remembered. It concentrating on his arm again, he turned it back to ice. Seeing the feeling, seeing the whatever, work, he smirked. Things are gonna get really interesting from now. Feeling the day's exhaustion crash into him, ah, he froze the inside of the trunk, not feeling comfortable unless he did, and settled his head on the wood of the trunk. Borrow, blah, 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 blah. The next morning, Luffy woke up groggily, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, looking around the frozen interior of the tree, feeling oddly comfortable with a frigid temperature around him. Waking up fully when he remembered that his grandpa was supposed to pick him up from the forest in the afternoon, memorizing the old man's schedule. He got out the tree and started venturing into the forest, picking and eating edible berries in the way of testing his new devil fruit powers. After walking for a short while, he could see a clearing thought the tree and saw a pack of wolves resting. The pack of wolves that nearly ate him last night. Looking intently at the soon to be multi course meal, he smirked and placed his hand on the slightly moist ground to prepare freezing it. To keep them in place while he. Nobody's in the house, I might as well just yell. He takes them out. He concentrated and pushed out his ice as fast as he could. Okay, that sounds weird. As fast as he could to as fast as he as fast as it could go, and the moist earth froze in less than a few seconds. The ice nearly got to their legs, but they ran off, whimpering before it could. It could. Luffy stood up, confused at their actions. Before he could contemplate it anymore, he felt a warm rush of wind on the back of his neck, paired with a growl and a snarl. He froze. Pun not intended. What? Thinking of what it could be, he slowly turned around and nearly screamed in terror. Behind him was a tiger, one one that was larger than anything he'd ever seen. The monster before him towered over his small frame lips. What? Whoa, what? Bro, you're not gonna ship Luffy with a tiger, are you? That'd just be weird. Lips drawn back in a snarl. Yellow eyes glaring at him with bestial whatever hunger. Putting two and two together, he finalized that he was its new dinner. The tiger opened its maw and roared in Luffy's face, showing him the nasty roar of razor sharp teeth, and giving him a face. Dang it, this position really hurts. Giving him a face full of the tiger's. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this position. Just might as well just sit up. But then the thing's too low. Yeah. Tiger. Ransom breathed breath that stunk of what he could only guess was the remnants of corpses of many woodland creatures, and maybe some people in there too. As the roar died down, Luffy got in gear and bolted away, eyes wide in terror and gasping in gulps of air into his burning lungs and pushed his aching legs as hard as he can, with the beast trailing behind him, knocking trees down as if they were wet paper towels. Luffy took a sharp right small opening, and the first chance he got, I'm not going to read that. This can't be it. This can't be it. It can't. Luffy desperately thought before clenching his fist and glaring up at the tiger in a fierce determination. I won't die here. It'll be a cold day in hell before I go down without a fight. He does have the will of D. I wonder if that I wonder if having the will of D, con- contributes to having some other stuff, like it's called the will of D. That's a horrible joke. With new intense determination and will within him, he turned his right arm into ice and slammed his palms into the ground, while his ice to freeze the what? Willing his ice. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. Earth, but he was prepared to do so. He felt a slight tug in his gut. Not thinking anything of it, he let his instincts take the wheel, and with a grunt of exertion, he sent out ice all around him, possibly 30 meters out in all directions, turning the earth into solid ice, along with the tiger, who was frozen in a mid-swipe with its paw a meter shy from Luffy's head. Feeling tired, Luffy started to stumble for a short distance, leaving the clearing behind him with most of the ice before he was pitched forward by exhaustion. I don't really understand this. Watching up, but before he could reach the ground, a pair strong of hands caught him and gingerly picked him up. The man holding him in his arms was his grandfather, Monkey D. Garp, Vice Admiral in the Marines. He looked at the aftermath of Luffy's show of power. Though already having seen it, he just wanted to study it again to be sure. So, he was born with it. But where did he get a devil fruit? The Vice Admiral muttered, seeing all of the unconscious animals at the fringe of the clearing without another word. Garp walked off, seemingly to some place to set up camp. On the way, he thought of what he saw before putting it aside for tomorrow. He'd have a discussion. What? He'd have to discuss some things with his grandson, but not now. Seeing Luffy was unconscious for the rest of the day, he soon arrived at the campsite. He set up and laid Luffy down there, laying down himself to get some sleep. Should I just end it up? And that was part one of what if Luffy had the Ice House. Yeah, I know. I said I was gonna be doing movies. No, um, but bro, I just can't, man. Like, I can do the movies from now on. I don't really care, man. Yeah. Peace.